Relentless effort is a massive piece for our programs as well. So the players and myself will give you nothing but our best every single day when it comes to that. We'll be who we're supposed to be, right, in terms of integrity. We're going to represent this university, this athletic department, and this program to the best of our ability, and we're going to do it together.
I think the exciting part for me personally is it's a whole new conference, and I think everyone needs to embrace it. Even football, like every single sport needs to embrace that we're all going to be in this new conference where let's win that conference.
Welcome into the Inside WSU Athletics podcast. It is so good to be back, and we are back in a big way on this edition of the show. We've got some outstanding guests coming up. Chris Cheetavitzky, brand new coach of the WSU women's soccer team. And boy, we talk about soccer, a huge part of the program, a legend for the program. Morgan Weaver will be here as well, and exciting coming up to talk with Interim Director of Athletics, Jon Haarlow. But before we get caught up with Jon Harlo coming up here, with our first episode back, we are thrilled to be bringing in a sponsor of the podcast, BECU, and our word from our sponsor, BECU. This episode of Inside WSU Athletics is brought to you by BECU. As a proud supporter of Washington State University, BECU is committed to helping Cougs get ahead both on and off the field. As a member-owned credit union, they put people first, offering financial services built on trust, transparency, and community. Win every day with Crimson and Gray in your wallet by carrying a WSU debit or credit card. Learn more at becu.org/WSU. Again, that's becu.org/WSU. BECU, banking with purpose, powered by people. And here we are with Jon Harlow. And Jon, we've had the break. It's been a while since we've had the podcast, and we are thrilled to be back here today. It's great chatting with you. How have you been? How have these last couple of months been since you were named interim athletic director back in the mid-November?
Yeah, it's been good. Good to see you, Chris. I'm excited to be here. We started this podcast obviously several months ago, and I've been on the podcast train. That's how I consume my media. So I was advocating for us to make this happen. Now I got to deliver, which is a little bit intimidating. So you have to work with me here, but I'm excited to be here. It's been a good couple of months. I appreciate all the energy that the team has been bringing. It's been all Cougs all the time, which is exactly how I would want it to be. No better way for it to be. So excited to chat with you today. It's gonna be good.
Well, I'm thrilled, and there's so much to talk about, and there's just all these great things to get caught up on. Let's dive into it. So pretty early on in your tenure, 2 head coaching changes with football and soccer. What was that like, and how involved had you been in the previous coaching searches?
Yeah, so it was obviously not how I initially pictured those first couple of weeks to be. It was really focused on the team and the existing groups that we had. But anytime you kind of get thrown curveballs like that, you test yourself and you test the team. And I've been super proud of how the team's reacted to that. You find out a lot about yourself during situations like that. You can either kind of fold or fly. And I think we delivered in both cases. When it happened, you rely on your past and your history and all the preparation to get to that point. I was involved with the previous search, been involved with previous searches, at least on the football side, at different institutions as well. So tried to rely on the past experiences there, rely on the network, rely really heavily on the team and the stakeholders that we have here. It's an all hands on deck type of process, especially with the speed that you have to go about those types of things. And so it was really good. And obviously I'm biased in this situation, but I think we hit home runs in both situations. So couldn't be more proud of what the group did. And the future is really bright, I think, for both those programs.
The future does seem really bright for both the programs. And with that, I mean, it was the recent past was incredibly bright. When we're talking about football, just last month, with all the changes in leadership, captured the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. That was a special day there. What was that like for both the team and the university to wrap up the season with that victory?
I think it was incredible, Chris, and not just to play recency bias here, but selfishly, one of the best couple of days of my career, just from being a part of that team. And I'm talking about the team that was on the field, the team that was working behind the scenes, the team at the university that traveled down there, the fans that showed up in Boise. Holy smokes, there was a Coug contingent there, which we know Cougs travel the best in the country. But to see, when I addressed that group, and I'm talking the football team there, I addressed them first when their sports supervisor had moved on to another institution and said, hey, here's, we got to change, and now it's me. And then there was change in leadership with the department, and hey, now it's me. And then your head coach has departed, and now I need you guys to trust the process, stay with us here. And that group of seniors that stepped up and said, hey, this is our team. We want to play. We want to deliver. Christian Hilborn stands up in the room and flips on his sweater. That's a Christmas sweater that has Christmas lights on it. So it lightened the mood there really quickly. I'm just extraordinarily thankful for that group of seniors: Zevi, Christian, Brock, Matt Durant, Tucker, Large. I could continue. I'm going to miss them. I shouldn't have started naming it, but that group meant a lot to me personally, because they embraced just all those transitions and allowed me to be part of that group. And then to see them, in Boise tubing, sledding like kids, and spend a couple of days there. Thankful for the previous staff that stuck around and was willing to put that team in that position. You could feel the energy in that locker room as they made their way to the field. They were hooting and they were hollering. And then they came out and they laid some hits on some folks pretty early there. And I think just from an institution perspective, we had like 1.3 million views of that game on a Monday afternoon. That's great exposure for the institution, and to come out with a win, an inspiring win like they did. And obviously there was, kind of two coaching staffs working in parallel there. So trying to manage that. And again, I think that the way that the team on the field performed, the team behind the scenes performed, couldn't have asked for a better couple of days. It was an emotional couple of days, and it's what you're in this industry for. So I couldn't be more proud of what that team did.
Well, you talk about kind of those parallel tracks of the coaching staff. I want to ask you about that for Kirby Moore and then also Chris Cheetavitzky, who we'll be chatting with coming up. How do you feel like the start of their tenures have gone here at WSU?
I think that we could not have asked for better starts, quite honestly. On the football side, Coach Moore starts naming his staff a great mix of veterans and young energy, those that he can rely on to both game planning and just how to manage, be the CEO of a program. He's hit home run after home run with that group. I've been super lucky to be, part of that process and over in the football building a couple times a day. And it's a great partnership there. That's a great staff to work with. Obviously, we've had some luck. I shouldn't say luck. Luck's the wrong term. It's a product of the process and what they're selling in the vision to retain the student athletes that we have. And we're winning some of the portal battles as well. Which is, so we're seeing palpable energy on that as well. By the time this is released, season tickets were put on the market today. So we've got to get butts in seats at Giesa Field. That's going to be the true indication of where we're at as a program. And then Coach Cheetavitzky, he's we were worried during the process initially on how do we rebuild the roster and, just all the turmoil that comes along with a transition like that. And what he's done with retention and winning some of those battles in the portal as well. His message to the group, it's, we get to compete for Pac-12 championships now in calendar year 2026. And so I think both of those programs, and we haven't even talked about the extension of volleyball and Coach Schroeder there. I think our fall is primed to be one to remember for WSU. So all three of those programs, I think, are on the right track.
And then my next question for you, you might have hit on this a little bit when you're talking about football season tickets, but it's a new year. It's 2026, and that brings renewed energy. What are the priorities for the athletic department moving into this new year?
Yeah, pretty simply put, championships. I got to be honest, for me personally, I have no desire to be mediocre or to get participation trophies. And the group that is around here too, we talk about championships. We now have an opportunity to compete for Pac-12 championships. And over the last 2 years, with the gap that we've had there, it feels pretty darn good to say out loud. We've got a group that talks about that. The team knows, but I get a little bit anxious. I'm bouncing up and down the hallways talking about where we need to be with season tickets and this and that. And I believe in it. I believe that we've got championships to pursue here culturally and on the field. And the standard is the standard. You don't lower the standard to match the people. You find people that can meet the standard. And I think we've got a group here, from coaches to support staff and everything in between, that believe that the championships are the mark. And so when we talk about priorities, my own selfish priority is to stay connected to all all of our student athletes, our stakeholders, our donors, coaches, because if I'm not talking to them and hearing what they need, then we're not serving them well. But by doing that, that breeds the culture. And then again, we talk about championship focus from a staff and coaching perspective. And I think that we've got programs that are primed to do that. We talk about the Pac-12. We've also got WCC. We've still got to finish out. We've got some WCC work to do. We've got Mountain West Championship to pursue for baseball here shortly. Go get your season tickets for baseball as well, as that will launch here in the coming months. So we've got a lot of really good, positive things in the works right now.
Well, President Cantwell has been vocal about her support for NIL for Cougar athletics, particularly football. How important is that for Cougar fans to get behind?
It is the single most important thing for Cougar fans to get behind. We know that if we don't participate in NIL, well, we saw it really last year when we talked about as a fan base and as a department, we lost some of these recruiting battles in the portal. And if you don't get behind that, there's not an opportunity to retain these student athletes and recruit new Cougs as well. That's the differentiator between the ability to succeed and just quite honestly opting out from being competitive here. I know it takes a lot if you're a historian on college sports, this is a new thing to get behind, and I totally understand that and empathetic to that as well. But this is the new game, and to compete on the field, you have to compete in the NIL space. And so that's going to be by the masses. And we're working to make sure that our fan base and stakeholders are educated on that. They understand the impact. They understand how to get involved, because that's going to be the differentiator for us going forward. And it's not even a negotiable. It has to happen. And so, we've put out all sorts of communication here recently, and you'll continue to see that. But Cougar Athletic Fund has ways for you to get involved with NIL now. Tax-deductible gifts through the Cougar Athletic Fund that can go straight to a sports excellence account that the coaches can use for NIL. So love for the listeners, for the fan base, for Cougar Nation to go to the CAF, find the NIL links, and make a tax-deductible gift, because it will. We're seeing it in real time. We're seeing our coaches, and they've got the math, they've got the algorithm, the allocation all dialed in, but it takes the real dollars. And so we're seeing it in real time, and we need it to continue.
So many great ways to get involved and make an impact. This has been so much fun to get kind of caught up big picture, but boy, it's a busy stretch right now. And just looking at what's happening as we talk here today and as this podcast comes out, for men's hoops, that last game went right down to the wire in a very difficult road environment. St. Mary's had won 19 straight at home. Cougs kind of had them on the brink there close, but St. Mary's hung on. The men will get another crack at St. Mary's. Can't wait for the Gales to come to town later this season. But coming up, it is Gonzaga Thursday, tip-off 7 o'clock at Beasley. Then on the road, back to the Bay Area, taking on San Francisco Sunday at 4 o'clock. For the women's team last week against Oregon State and Santa Clara. This week at St. Mary's Thursday, and then hosting San Francisco Saturday. That game will get started at 6 o'clock. And also, track and field begins its 2026 indoor schedule at the UW Preview in Seattle. That's Saturday and Sunday. Tennis begins its 2026 spring season at Idaho this Sunday at 11 a.m. Busy is good, John. We like busy, and that's what's happening right now for Cougar Athletics.
Absolutely, and just a call to action, call to arms for everybody to be here Thursday if you can for the matchup against Gonzaga. We want Beasley to be loud, to be rocking. They've been scratching and clawing in the last couple of games, as you mentioned. The last one, they got down early but scratched and fought. They're turning the corner, and I love to watch them compete like they're doing. Thursday's a big one, but we need Beasley to be rocking and to be packed. So we hope to see more Cougs show up for that.
Well, can't wait. And coming up, we're excited for our conversations. We're going to be discussing WSU soccer, and coming up, the brand new head coach for the program. Well, we are excited to welcome in our next guest. And John, I know this is someone that you have been able to get to know, and Coug fans chomping at the bit to get to know as well. John, can you tell us who we got joining us here today?
Yeah, thanks. We have got head soccer coach Chris Cheetavitzky. Coach, how did I
nailed that?
Did I nail it?
You nailed that. Yes.
Well, that's not any fun. We were supposed to go through a whole exercise here. I know that the previous 7 or 8 times that I have talked to you, I've butchered it, so it took me a while to get there. So can you say it again for our viewers and listeners?
Absolutely. Cheetavitzky.
Cheetavitzky. See,
that's right.
It's educational as well. I like it.
Yeah, And I feel like it sounds better with the microphones that you guys get. Like, well, where do I get one of these things? I got headphones in, and you guys have these smooth sounding Bing Crosby microphones.
We're going to take a look at the budget. We're going to see what we can do.
Okay.
So we are so excited that you're here, not just on the podcast, but here in Pullman. You're a Coug with WSU. But the last couple of weeks have been crazy for you and your family. Obviously, accepting the job, holidays are in there. You're moving, transfer portal. Just how are you? And talk us through what the last couple of weeks have been like.
Purely drinking from a fire hose. I feel like it's been crazy. Just trying to get, first and foremost, coaching staff in place, get the transfers over, and have to give a huge shout out to everybody in compliance here. Because remember, this is all happening over the holiday period, myself and Kirby. And to have people such as yourself and then Brad and Hannah and everybody else to put in so much work during Christmas and New Year's and right after that to get transfers put through so that they can show up on campus on a day like today and, immediately hit the ground running is really huge testament to the way that everything operates around here. So that's been great from a transfer perspective. Getting the coaching staff in place, that's finally done. We'll announce everybody this week. And then finally get to start practice on Wednesday. So I couldn't be more happy to finally be on the field and not just in the office doing human resources stuff.
All the non-soccer stuff, you finally get to pay attention to soccer a little bit.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
I forgot to shout out Kelly Kamimura, who is our senior women's administrator, who was a huge part of the search, and then Brad Corbin as well in leading to the hiring of coach here. So I want to make sure that I'm intentional in shouting both of them out, as they are huge. They play a huge part in everything that we do, but certainly this was just another notch in their belt for crushing this as well.
Yeah, I would agree. Kelly was absolutely amazing.
Well, Coach, you have a fascinating background. So growing up, you were born in Poland, also lived in Italy, South Africa, and Australia. What was your childhood like growing up in all those different spots? And then at what point did you make your way to the U.S.?
Yeah, that's a good question. Childhood, yes, all over the place. So it was escaping Poland at the time just because of the, how do I put this, political climate. Living in a refugee camp in Italy and then living in South Africa, thinking that would be better than the political climate of Poland. But then you stepped into the racial tensions of 80s South Africa and then moved to Australia where my dad's job took us there as well. And that was, kangaroos, sunshine, and rainbows and much better. And then I was about 16, 17, and I thought I'm going to be the greatest soccer player of all time and go to Europe, or I'll end up in America and I'll get most of my education paid for, hopefully, by playing soccer. And so the European track doesn't work out and end up in the States, and here we go.
Wow. Okay. So was soccer always a big part of growing up? We heard your plan at one point. At what point was that plan hatched?
Yeah, no, soccer has always been, it's the thing I do best. I remember the first time I ever got invited to coach a session, and I turned it down numerous times till this person gave me like $50. And I was like, done. As a college kid, I'll take $50 for anything. So ran a session, and I sat in my soft top 91 Jeep Wrangler and drove back and said, I've never felt more secure in a space ever in my life, where I felt confident. I knew the material, and I could speak in a way to people where people listen and I could make a difference in their lives. And that was all in the space of, 45 minutes coaching these 14-year-old boys. But I thought, I need to do that for the rest of my life. And that's what kind of triggered everything that has led us into this moment right here today.
That's pretty fascinating to listen to. You talk about how impactful soccer was on your life. What were some role models? Were there soccer role models that you had specifically that you tried to model after, or even, I guess, outside of soccer too?
Yeah, at the time, I was convinced to watch this movie called Miracle on Ice. And I'm like, I'm not going to like some Disney movie about ice hockey. And I watched that and I was like, Herb Brooks, I need to be Herb Brooks, right? And so if you wonder why I end up at Bemidji State as a grad assistant in northern Minnesota, it's because I watched Miracle and I said, I'm going to go live in Minnesota so I can get close to the ghost of Herb Brooks. And so it was Herb, and then you start looking at characters like, because I read everything that I get my hands on, right? So fall in love with Herb Brooks, John Wooden, Coach K, Nick Saban, Tony Dungy, and all of these people who, I get that they coach different sports, but they do the same thing that I do, which is make people better, right? Maximize them as human beings and get the most out of them so that they can be the best version of themselves as people and as players in whatever sport they choose. And so that's how I kind of was mentored by them, so to speak. And then as the coaching journey goes along, right, you find head coaches who you look up to and kind of take ideas from, and they help you get an understanding for who you want to be as a head coach one day. And then that ultimately helped me become who I am.
That's fascinating. So we kind of fast forward a little bit. You end up at Montana. You have a great deal of success in your 7 years in Missoula. And then you end up, having WSU on your radar. You're familiar with WSU when you're at Montana. Mm-hmm. And then this opportunity comes up. What made the opportunity in Pullman so special?
Oh, just you can see how much potential there is here. Immense athletic potential. And then the fan base support and everything else that is going on. It was too good of an opportunity to not look at. And the amount of times that I've had to come up here with Montana over the years, and to be honest, I didn't think I ever won a single game here, which was frustrating. But to be able to come up here and see the facility, see the passionate support base, it was always a program that we were chasing because I wanted to replicate in Missoula that kind of support, that kind of success, that kind of recruiting. And so to think, let me take all my methods that I have from Montana and apply them into this setting is just a dream come true, to be honest.
So, Coach, we're going to chat with Cougar legend Morgan Weaver here shortly. I think if memory serves, you competed against her twice, I think, in previous stops. Tell us what you remember about Morgan as a competitor coaching against her.
Yeah, truly amazing. I remember the first time we played against her. Well, no, this would have been the second time because we played each other in regular season, then in postseason. And I just remember thinking, if I can make sure she doesn't get the ball, we'll be fine. So we're playing in the NCAA tournament here, and we played in a certain way just to make sure she couldn't get it. But then the tweaks that were put in place at halftime definitely helped her get on the ball. And at that point, the whole thing just entirely fell apart. But what a gifted player. And then just somebody who is so passionate, I have figured out just over the past couple of weeks about this athletic department and this university and wants to give so much to it and be still involved in so many different ways. I think she's really, really special as an alumni for everybody.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. We're really lucky to have her, not just a legacy, but the fact that she's so willing to be back involved with us now. So talk, obviously, and I mentioned it in the opening when Chris and I were talking, we're in new calendar year 2026. That's the year of the Pac-12. So in the fall, we're going to compete with the new Pac-12, new opponent set. But just talk to us about your perspective of the new Pac-12 and what your early thoughts are on it.
Oh, absolutely fired up. You have no idea. I mean, it is such an exciting year. And just to be able to say Pac-12 is back, baby, right? I mean, it makes everybody smile, gets everybody excited. If you look at it from a soccer standpoint, good majority of the teams are in the top 75 of the country. And so it's immensely competitive. And just, I can't wait to start these recruit phone calls for future years and say, hey, guess what? We're in the Pac-12. You want to be a part of this, right? It's contagious. It's fun. And honestly, I'm so happy that I get to sit in this chair and be the one that gets to start, as the head coach for this program in the new era of the Pac-12.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting to think about. As we close here with this, talking to you, if there's one final remark to leave with Cougar Nation as you get to finally participate in on-field soccer-related things here, what would be a couple of things that you would leave with Cougar Nation to be excited about your program?
Yeah, I think it's dangerous to say, hey, I'm going to give you success because nobody can guarantee that. But the things that you can guarantee everybody is that I absolutely love waking up in the morning and doing what I do. So I'm going to give you 100% maximum joy and contagious love every single time that you see me, right? Relentless effort is a massive piece for our programs as well. So the players and myself will give you nothing but our best every single day when it comes to that. We'll be who we're supposed to be, right? In terms of integrity, we're going to represent this university, this athletic department, and this program to the best of our ability. And we're going to do it together. This isn't soccer siloed separately from the rest of the athletic department. I run across daily to the tennis office and give them a high five for their daily high five and say, let's freaking go. I'm fired up about life today, right? So it is bringing everybody together because I think we all know, as I very quickly found out here, and it's the reason why I took the job, Coug Nation is massive and there is so much energy within it. And as long as we're all operating together, we can achieve huge things together. And so we're going to be fully bought into this thing every single day.
Say it louder. I love it. How can you not get behind that? This is awesome. Coach, thank you. This is awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, thank you guys. Really appreciate being on and happy to come on anytime.
This is incredible. Your enthusiasm is infectious, and it is great to have you here on the Palouse. Again, Coach, thanks for the time, and we'll have Morgan Weaver coming up. But first, a word from our sponsor. This episode of the Inside WSU Athletics podcast is brought to you by BECU. As a proud supporter of Washington State University, BECU is committed to helping Cougs get ahead on and off the field. As a member-owned credit union, they put people first, offering financial services built on trust, transparency, and community. Win every day with Crimson and Gray in your wallet by carrying a WSU debit or credit card. Learn more at becu.org/WSU. Again, that's becu.org/WSU. BECU, banking with purpose, powered by people. Well, we are thrilled to have our next guest on the podcast. And John, we are joined by a true Cougar legend.
Yeah, you mentioned it, Chris. Cougar legend, Morgan Weaver. Morgan, thank you so much for joining us. Full disclosure, when the transition happened with the coaching staff, obviously soccer is a huge part of what we do here. I've been lucky enough to be part of some other programs and other institutions and understand how important it is. But my first phone call, hopefully, Morgan, I can share this. My first phone call was to Morgan for perspective, for some insight, for some character traits to look for. And she thankfully answered and was as helpful along that process. So, Morgan, it's great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me. Yeah, good thing I didn't press decline.
Yeah, not yet, but I do appreciate that. So give us an update on your health as you head into this upcoming season. Give us an update there.
Yeah, well, obviously I had an insane just kind of injuries the last 2 years, being held out all last year, which really sucked. But everything's going really, really well, and everyone's super excited. My athletic trainers are happy. My doctors are happy where I'm at. So it's just now getting back to healthy and finishing PT, which is not fun. Let me tell you, it's so hard. But
Sure.
it's so fun, and I've had a great time. I've had a great support system, but obviously I won't start right away with the team. I'll be doing my own thing in PT still. So hopefully whenever I feel 100%, I'll be back in. We don't really have a timeline right now. It's just when I feel good and they okay everything and our doctors check all the boxes. So
Well, you've been in Portland with the Thorns since the 2020 season. How has women's soccer grown in your time there?
it's crazy how insane it's changed. We were actually just talking about this at a friend's house the other night, just even salaries, everything that's changed. But even before me, I remember girls were like, you only make $6,000 here. Like that's what they started out, $5,000. Like girls had 2, 3 jobs. Like it was crazy. And like, thankfully I'm very lucky that it's been on the up and I don't have to get a second job or anything crazy. I do train on the side, my academy girls team, but it's been such a blessing. And I think Portland is so fun and they're just such a soccer community and sports in general. I mean, we're getting a WNBA team. We have the Blazers. They're killing it right now. The Timbers are going to start up again. So I feel like we're in a really good direction here.
It's awesome to hear. And we introduced you as Cougar legend, which you are through and through. There's no more passionate Coug out there. But talk us through and I've heard you present this to other people, so I'm excited for you to share it with others. But just what made Pullman so special? What made WSU so special in your time here so wonderful?
Yeah, I think the first time I stepped on campus, I knew it was home to me. I think just the community in general, being a small town, just felt like the perfect place for me to go. Obviously I've been to a few schools when I was trying to look for where I wanted to go. UW was one of them, and that was definitely my number one for the longest time. Like I was there like
we're glad you came to your senses, Morgan.
Yeah, me too. Always there all the time. Like I knew people that were committed there. I was so excited. I was like, yeah, UW all the way. And I remember Jon Harlow called my old coach and was like, hey, we'd love to have Morgan up here. We want to have a visit. And I was like, no, I'm not going. And my mom's like, no, you're going. I was like, I don't want it, Mom. Like, I know where I want to go. Like, I'm good. She's like, absolutely not. You are going and you're going to visit. I was like, fine. Within, I think, 10 minutes, I was like, I'm going here. And it was just from the coaching staff to everything. I just felt right. And it just felt like a good place for me. I loved everything about it. It wasn't too close to home, far enough for my parents to have to drive to see me. Couldn't have a random surprise, or I couldn't go home every day. Like, I think if I went to UW, I'd be home probably every day, and I wouldn't be able to like be myself or be where I am now. And so it's just been, I love Wazoo. Like, I think it's funny because my boyfriend, he's a husky, ew, but he he embraced like Wazoo. Now he understands, and I think that's like the exciting part. I'm like, you get to now experience like what I experienced. I remember taking him to a game 2 years ago for my sister's boyfriend's senior night, and he was like, "This is so fun." He's like, "This is what Pullman's like." I'm like, "Yeah, it's a great time." So I think it's fun to like show people and embrace the community.
Yeah, a special place, no doubt. And shout out John Harvey and the Harvey family. Always loved them. Are there any special memories that you reflect on that you hold near and dear, team related or otherwise?
Oh my gosh, I have so many memories. I think for me, soccer wise, I mean, the Final Four year was just so much fun that nothing beats that year. And I think the crazy thing is, I don't think people understood exactly what I was going through that year because I went through a drought. I was not scoring goals. I was playing awful. Like, I was like, am I going to get drafted? Am I even going to play pro? Like, I was so nervous. And for like 10 games, I didn't score. And then all of a sudden, I scored my like next goal. And I was like, okay, I'm back. Like, I know how to be me. And it was one of the best years I've had. And being able to finish with some of the girls, like that was our ending. And it was just so fun. I can never get over it. Like, I still think about it. I'll watch videos from like that time. And it was just like, I get so happy and I like still get goosebumps watching like old clips from it.
That is incredible. Well, as John told us, you were engaged with the search when the Cougs hired Chris Cheetavitzky, and we were so thrilled to hear from him on this episode of the podcast. What are your thoughts about Chris coaching the Cougs?
I'm really excited. I think it's actually kind of funny because I texted a few people I knew that either knew him very well or have like by Thorns Academy, we've talked to him obviously from some of our players getting recruited by him. And it's so funny because I'm like, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? And I received so many texts of just positive. Everyone's like, he's a great guy. We love him. He's so in tune. Like he just knows his stuff. So I remember calling John and I was like, I think it's a great hire. Talking to Kelly as well. I'm like, I think it's great. And I think every candidate we had was anyone could have had the job. I think Chris was just the right choice. And I'm so excited to see where he goes with this program because I think it's time for Wazoo. Love Todd. And I think it was time for Wazoo and Todd to move on. Like it's going to be so exciting to see where he's at Ole Miss. But I think it's going to be fun to have some fresh faces in Pullman.
Yeah, I think that's a great perspective. And it's a new chapter in soccer here, a new conference starting as well. So it's early. We haven't, technically it doesn't start until July 1, but what are your early thoughts on new Pac-12, the competition there, and what soccer is going to look like there?
Yeah, I mean, it's so different. NIL, all that stuff, I don't really understand it. I'm trying to, being with the Coug Collective now, like trying to understand NIL. It doesn't really make sense still. It's kind of crazy. But I think it's super exciting.
We're going to get you there, Morgan.
I'm getting there.
We will get you there.
Caught up. I think the exciting part for me personally is it's a whole new conference and I think everyone needs to embrace it. Even football, like every single sport needs to embrace that we're all going to be in this new conference where let's win that conference. Yeah, we want to compete with everyone outside the conference, but let's start with ours. Because if we can't beat our own conference, then we're not going to compete with anyone else. So if we get one or two in our conference, I think Wazoo is going to keep going. I mean, it's such a positive note. The new football coach, I mean, players wanting to come in. It's so exciting to see the coaching staff. Everyone just seems so excited. And I think this is a whole new fresh start for Wazoo in general. And it's like a fresh of breath air. Like we can relax and not relax in a good way where it's like, here we go, let's do this.
So if you have one recruiting pitch to either nail could be a student athlete or even just getting somebody to come to WSU in general, what is the greatest thing about being a Coug, your recruiting pitch to get to somebody to come to Wazoo?
Oh, that's a good one. I would say like just community in general. I'd always bring that up, but not just in Pullman, but everywhere you go. I remember my dad was in vacation with my mom and he was wearing his Coug shirt because, he wears it very proud now. And some guy was like, go Cougs. And he was like, we're not even in the United States and someone's saying go Cougs. Like, this is awesome. Like, I think that it just classifies the family of Coug Nation, and it's Cougs versus everybody still. And I think that's always what we're going to say, and it's always what we're going to do.
Yeah, I think it's hard to explain. It's hard to describe sometimes unless you're part of it, but there isn't a place you can travel without getting a Go Cougs if you're wearing the Coug head. Morgan, we're grateful for you. We're grateful for your passion, the fact that you stay engaged and that you're willing to be generous with your time. So thanks for staying in communication with us, and thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for having me.
Well, what a great way to get the podcast off and running once again. Chris Cheetavitzky, brand new soccer coach, Morgan Weaver, Cougar legend, joining us. John, we've had a blast. Any final thoughts for this episode? And we know we're excited for all the conversations that we have moving forward as well.
Yeah, this has been fun. Anxious for future episodes as well. Appreciate the opportunity to be here and for the guests. We had a tremendous group to focus on soccer. That's awesome. A couple more reminders to folks. Season tickets will be on sale for football, whether that's renewals or getting back into the action or buying a season tickets for the first time. We want to pack Giesa Field. This coach is putting together a roster that's going to be exciting to watch. We want to fill the stadium. Let's be loud. Let's show them the support that we know that we're capable of. So a call to action there. Reminder on NIL. You can give to the CAF, tax deductible gift that can go straight to NIL. Want to continue to remind people and push the education on that because it is critically important for our success going forward. Baseball tickets are on sale as well. I want to see everyone there in the spring. Really excited about what Coach Choate has put together there. We've got some veterans back. I'm excited about what they're going to do. We've got great competition in Beasley. Like there's so many things that I could run through here. Men's basketball's got Gonzaga here this week. I know I shouldn't have started because now I'm going to miss some people and then feel guilty about this. But there are so many ways to get involved and to support the Cougs. We're always grateful for Coug Nation, and there's always so much more to come and that we can do. So we're going to have more exciting episodes. Excited to continue to engage with the Cougs out there. 2026 is going to be our year. It's our time. Let's go Cougs.
Well said. That will do it for this episode. Can't wait for future weeks to come. Appreciate everyone tuning in. And as always, go Cougs.
Go Cougs.